To say. Driving in this morning, Joe and I just happily rolling along. Even until we got to the door of the Dharma hall. And then as I was stepping in the door, he was like, "Oh, I won't bother you because I know you preparing." I'm like, no, that's all right. And so we're just conversating. And but the minute I opened that door, my mind shifted. And suddenly I was caught up in something that is too wonderful. I'm gonna try to get through this Dharma talk right now. uh, this is through my own weakness, both physical weakness, and my own personal stage of development. Uh, Sometimes something is just too hard to handle, so I apologize for my deficiencies, but truly I am overwhelmed. Uh, just give me a minute. I'm gonna tell you why I'm overwhelmed. I hope you can catch this. I read one sentence and it was saying that there is a danger in understanding cause and effect. And that many people think that this is a path about understanding cause and effect, but it's about believing in cause and effect. And the difference in what it will enable you to, or how it will enable you to transform your life and transport you into uh, uh, the realm of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And so you could be using the very same languaging, but it's where the seat of your union and relationship is with this wisdom of the knowledge of the understanding of cause and effect. Because one who understands it is not necessarily one who lives by it. And that's the danger, because we think we understand it, that is tantamount to living by it, but it's not the same thing. And so you find many people, the more versed they get in the Dharma, the less they are able to transport from an ordinary consciousness to the unveiling of the actual body of, or bodies of a Buddha, the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya of a Buddha. So their capacity doesn't go any higher than ordinary thinking, and so they can't they can't traverse or get out of a mundane sphere. We think about going someplace, but the other shore is none other than where you are, but it is the state you are in where you are And we think we are going somewhere, so we never move off of the spot we're in, and there's never the uptake, so that the external appearances completely transform according to the according to the state of prajna that we have access. Now, it gets difficult to talk about this because we only have words to use, and words can't clearly convey this. I'm gonna do the best that I can, but the seeds of karma are sown in the alaya consciousness, the eighth consciousness, and that's why consciousness is never going to be able to take you to nirvana. Consciousness, we have to move beyond the realm of consciousness, and we use understanding as the vehicle to traverse to the different levels of consciousness, levels of understanding. And that's why we get confused and think like the one who awakens is the one who Domla really understands. But understanding is just a rudimentary, a preliminary aspect of this journey inward. And so if we prize ourselves on understanding, we will never awaken. Now that sounds counterintuitive to the whole point, because in the beginning we're starting because we're trying to get understanding of something. And that's all well and good. But to energetically enter into the uptake, it takes going beyond understanding. So we have this notion that belief is a kind of fuzzy woo-woo kind of thing that's not based on fact. But what I'm telling you, that what we hold so tightly to as fact is the woo-woo fuzzy thing. And it's going to take a shift in our commitment to untying the knots of knowledge in the way that we understand knowledge, to be able to enter into what we call states, but actually it's not even states. Yesterday, as we were doing our study, the four of us were on Zazi's class, and there was the discussion opened talking about the early Zen practitioners and how like every week somebody was getting enlightened and popping off, and why that's not happening today, And they were talking about a particular monastery, and I read that discourse maybe a year ago, where when you went in, you signed a paper that said if you that they had the right to totally discipline you to help you reach your goal, and that if you they could even kill you, if you slacked even a little bit in what you what you promised the effort was going to be, your effort that you were going to put into your practice. And and the story went that if you were doing the running with the water bucket practice, and even a drop of water fell out the bucket, they would beat you. Or, so it was extreme punishment. They, from the outside, the extreme punishment for like the least infractions, and they said, we just don't understand this. What about the precept to not kill? So they felt that they missed the whole object of the lesson. And the object of the lesson was that if you want to play around, there's many places you can go. Don't come here. Not only here. I mean, they were saying, don't come to that monastery. Because if you came there, you were all in. You weren't half in, quarter in, 3/4, 99.5%. You were all in, and you were going to give 100%. This is there was a goal that you were after, and they only wanted the top tier. And so people would sign this paper, and they would go in, and it was like, I don't understand why anyone would do that. But it's like, if I had a bodyguard, would I want somebody who had no training in, combat and defense? I just give me somebody. Just send anybody over here to be my bodyguard. Or would I want one who had some training? If there were ones who had training, would I want one who was drafted and was in the army or the military because they had to go? Or would I want one who had a sense and an urge to protect? And, which one would I choose of those two? If there was one who had a sense and an urge to protect, and one who went to an elite skill, SEAL training, which one would I want? The one who went through basic training, or one who went through SEAL training? And so it is easy to see, but they were saying, like, I can't understand this around the Dharma, is it, and in this meditation school, because isn't this about what was the word? Was you in this relaxing? Isn't this about relaxing? Yeah. And we were like trying, yeah. So it just really gave me pause, because I was like, if I'm up against a challenge and an obstacle, let me pick who I want to go with me, But I thought about that last night for hours. And I got up this morning just wondering, what is the level of commitment? It's like, I used to say, what are you looking for, and why are you here? What are you looking for, and why are you here? So different people are here for different reasons. But I hope some of us are here because we truly want to awaken to our true nature. We always talk about who we really are and that kind of thing, but what does that really mean? What I can tell you for sure is that you can't figure it out through using mind and thought. But there is a place that when the aspiration becomes deep enough, you enter a stream, and that stream carries you towards the goal. And this is beyond understanding. And I could say that you are, if you allow it, you can be virtually accosted by it. And that's how you know the reality of it. Not because of mental assent, not because you figured it out, but because it has an undeniable capacity to override your ignorance. It functions like a protective shield. And it erases the dichotomy or the duality of a mind that differentiates things. It erases maybe I'll say the sting of differentiation. What makes something hurt versus makes something feel good in us. And hurt and feeling good lose their distinctive properties. So that one is not tossed one way or the other. I can't explain it like I'm oh, experiencing it at the moment. But it's like being caught up in a field where things have no power over you. There is a kind of freedom from all external forces. When she put on the chant today, paying homage to the three Buddhists, it's innumerable Buddhists, but those were specific to Kuan Yin, um, Shakyamuni, and Dorji Chang, the original Dorji Chang Buddha, just three. But there was something in the respectful heart that paid homage, that catapulted me into a certain realization that my mind could never enter into, because the mind has certain limitations. So we use some words to try to describe some states or some experiences, and you might call it to enter into the reality state. And the reality state is not the state that can be talked about. It can only be experienced. But once you experience it, you know it as it has a quality that surpasses, it has a quality that shows you the falseness of how we hold life. And if I use the word falseness now, I mean the inadequacy, the inability to understand, to surmount, um, to see clearly what life is. And so we have a description of what life is, what it is to be living and existing in this world that's based on our aggregates connecting with an external factors. And because of these, consciousness arises and it makes, and these three make contact. And we call that the world, we call that living, we call that life. But once you enter into a certain field, you see the falseness of all of that. It falls away, and there is something else there. That is the only true awakening. It is not around us understanding concepts. They will just take you down a rabbit hole, and you will live and die, never making much progress. But if one could surrender one's ego of knowing for even a second, one could enter this field. And that's where there's no need even for conversation in that field. Who could you explain it to? Uh, there was nothing lacking in this field. For that second, everything is known and understood. And then we come back to our ordinary selves and we just pick up where we left off, living our little tawdry lives. But the more and more we yield to that moment, that flash of insight, the more we build up the capacity to string those nanoseconds along until that becomes our dwelling place. Now, it's not my dwelling place now. That's why I'm so overwhelmed and overcome by it if there is that flash. Can't stay in it but a second. But I just wanted to share it because I think you should understand that this walk is not about study and knowing things. Well, learning facts and theories don't count. Only the direct experiences are the real thing. So that's why there is so much so why the ancient teachers didn't do that much talking. Because we can get caught up in our talking and think we know. But those of us who clearly believe in cause and effect, not understand it, but clearly believe in it, it causes us to have a completely different inner aspiration that seems to go against how common sense, works or what common sense tells us. For instance, we can energetically practice enduring insults. Not because we like being insulted, but we understand the value of being able to endure the insult. We can take it as a training instead of something to get straightened out. We just before we gave did the what's that event that we did? The Bodhi Fest, yes. And I think Sister posted something out on Instagram, and somebody responded, and they said, "I am a what did she?
It was on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook comment that said that, was she a writer or something? She did something
She writes
creative and wanted to get
creative,
involved.
writes Buddhist songs or something like that. And she was so glad that we were having Bodhi Fest, and she wanted to know how she could participate. And then right on the heels of it, she sent back, oh, never mind, this is a money grab. You're just about, you know. And then somebody else wrote back, yeah, sure, you're right. You know, I'm like, these people don't even know. They know, no. I mean, now where did that thought come from? You know? And so Pannavati, right away, like, I'll answer that one, you know. But then I said, just don't respond to it, you know. And that quick, it was gone it was just gone. You know, and these are the moments that we can use as a litmus to know whether we're cultivating or not. Yeah.
Just when you gave that example, I just went, there's so much ignorance for someone who writes Buddhist things that can't understand anything about how you can present an event.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and you know, and I was thinking, I mean, where did where did the thought come from? Because we were selling tickets like we got the hall free. No, we didn't get the theater free, you know. But even beyond that, like just in a wide open public forum, you know, that's your first go-to place. And I just said, leave it, just leave it. You know. But if you're never challenged in a certain way, you won't know, you know, what capabilities you possess.
Sounds like it lets us know what kind of Buddhist songs we would have gotten from that person.
That's what I was
Right? That's the mind that would produce the Buddhist songs we would be getting.
Well, you know what? I had to stop my mind from going there because that's exactly where my mind went. Like, what kind of Buddhist practitioner is she? You know, and I had to stop at what kind are you, Pannavati? In that moment. And I'm telling you that if you dedicate yourself in this way, although you will fail 1,000 times a day, you just pick yourself up and you start again. That's like being whacked with the cudgel. You know, that's about being willing to give everything, because what we give up is ourselves. We give ourselves away. And depending on how willing we are to shed this illusory self, will determine how much closer we get to coming to know our true self. Right now, I know Pannavati well. You know, there's I'm trying to talk to you and something's talking to me. I'm trying to listen to it talk to me and stay here with you. So I'm sorry. Trying to do this dual thing here. We're reading the Dharma of Zen, and Buddha Master was giving, where he gave a teaching on Zen. And he was saying that Zen is not, or you could call it, Chan practice that they do in China. But he said, this is not a method. It's not like we have this idea that meditation is a method, but it's not a method. He said it's a state. Then he said, actually, it's not a state. It's beyond state, but state is probably the best word that we can use to give you some understanding that it's not method. It's like a state. But the reason it's not a state is because state is tied up with consciousness, and it's beyond consciousness. So what that is, like we just don't have any words for it, right? He said, actually, it is the real you. So my mind is trying to make that leap, which I cannot make at this time, but make that leap from, it's not even a state, it's the real you. It is who and what you are, apart from this illusory idea of I'm this individuated person. So sometimes if you have a glimpse of this, there's no capacity to unpack it, to know what it is, because that's the false trying to know the real. Oh, I'm sorry, this talk's not for everybody, but it is for somebody. Because as long as we roll around within the vicinity of the known, we'll never get away from what we know. And we'll never take that leap to encountering that is beyond what we know. We like to know things, but we don't want it to be too far away. We like to know things, but just a hair, I just want to stretch this much. I don't want to be like stretched wide. I just want to stretch that much. That's all I can accommodate. So it takes us a very long time to understand even the simplest things, to penetrate to the reality of the simplest things, because we're not willing to be stretched. We don't want to get whacked with the stick. We don't want to commit that much. We're not willing to lay down what we know to be stretched too far. And so we don't make that much progress. But I would like to encourage you to get out of the study mentality. And to open yourselves up. Don't say one thing and mean another. First question is there really anything to awaken to for you? I mean, what? I think there's something to awaken to. The second is, what are you willing to give to awaken to it? How much of yourself are you willing to give? How much? What's it worth to you? We can put a value on just about everything else we own. We know how far we're willing to go for this, what we're willing to do for that, what we're willing to do for you, what when it comes to this, it's like a little hazy and nebulous. Like we don't really know. We don't really have, we're just like rolling along. We hear something, oh, that's good, or I don't believe that. Or, but we don't have any like concrete stake in this. It's just something we do with part of our week. One more of our things that we do, that we amuse ourselves or entertain ourselves or do a little bit of self-development, growth or something like that, And when you do that, because that's the value that it has for you, that's what you're going to get from it. So if you feel like you're not getting enough from it to make it more worth your time, it's because you're not giving more of your time and energy to it to make it worth something to you. Now I'm just talking real talk here today. So you have to decide how much of yourself you will give. And the thing is, it's mostly just making a commitment to give yourself, because we have in our mind an idea of this is going to take too much of me and I'm not willing to give it. Where if we went all in, it's only when I go all in that there is an epiphany. Epiphanies don't occur in half step. But when I go all in, it's right there, immediate. It's immediate. The revelation is immediate. And every time there's been a great insight, it was at the moment of like, I surrender all, going all in. And suddenly it was there. And when I come out, that was delicious, delectable. I enjoyed every minute of it. And now on to whatever these other mundane things are that I want to do. That class is one hour on Tuesdays. The 1 hour feels like 5 minutes to me. It's like, okay, I'm ready to start class now, and we're ringing off. So now I'm left for the next few hours by myself because the class was over, But I'm ready then. It's just whetting my appetite, ready to immerse myself. Now, I'm saying these things to kind of build your confidence because we're getting ready. As I know I say it every time we meet, we're getting ready to go into meditation practice. But what I'm telling you is when this is not your grandfather's meditation practice. We're getting ready to, and I told Zazi, I said, Zazi, I've left meditation alone, other than, like doing your morning sit or your evening sit. But I mean, really doing that, buckle down, do that meditation practice. I said, because I've already done that. And it didn't take me to my goal. It took me somewhere for sure. But now that I have more of an understanding, I can see it didn't take me nearly far enough. So there's something in that I don't have, that I didn't understand. But now that we've spent the last 3 years studying, the understanding has created a space. Now, if I get the right instruction, the uptake can be like that. And that's what I'm after. I know what I'm after in my meditation. I'm actually after inheriting the 3 bodies of a Buddha. And that can happen in this very life. It's not fuzzy and a figment of my imagination anymore. It's clear to me what the fruit of the practice yields. So now I'm not interested in stress relief, letting go for a while, relaxation, because I've had a taste of liberation. And I have some understanding, some context. So I've used the mind as much as it can be useful for. And now I'm sitting at the gate. Now I'm ready for meditation. And we are going to start. I'm not going to teach any method that I've taught before, because our Buddha master gave an initiation and he gave a dharma. I love reading what they say Shakyamuni Buddha said. I love reading it. I love contemplating all the insights of the patriarchs, or what they said, or what they said they said. I love hearing like the voices of all these dead people. And it can have some benefit for me, but I didn't know a one of them. I wasn't a personal witness to any of them. But by a stroke of good fortune and merit, I had an opportunity in this life, just this one, to come in contact with a living master. Actually, more than one, but one above all others, that I personally could witness the power of of his insight. And then he's going to teach me a method. Whose method am I willing to try? And I'm saying that because this Dharma of Zen, the method, when I read it, it was like, that's great for Panya Deepa, but that's not my thing, because it's I like a lightning show when I sit down to meditate. I got fireworks. I want things to be happening in there because they have happened before, and I like it. I don't want to like just sit like a bump on a log in this nothingness that they're talking about. What the heck, But he said this makes a difference in the time it takes to traverse the territory of awakening. And that's what I'm trying to do now. That's the hack I want, to collapse the time that it takes.
For
It's like,
real.
do I want to take the bus or do I want to take a rocket? Yes, Rob.
I was just saying, for real. What
Okay.
the name of the monastery is Gao Min, you know, and I'm like, she's getting Gao Min on us, like, and I really see the truth, and I also understand like all of the changing of the conscience that had to happen to even be ready to like receive that kind of thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was just kind of,
Yeah.
I
No,
would the
it's
truth of that
true.
was really radiating with me. And
And
also the fortune of us to encounter that and to encounter you, like, wow.
yeah, and I'm saying it because there is a technique, there is a method that we, will go through with this. And I'll be the first one to confess that I've read the method and I practiced the method. When I went on 7-day retreat, I did some of it, but it wasn't my favorite thing in the 7-day retreat. I'm like, there's other things you can do other than hold this bowl of water with the light shining in it, and I'm like, can I do something else? And he's saying, fill the water, place it 3 feet from you, where the light is shining in, and you know, and stabilize the water. I'm like, give me another method. Let's try something else, And I didn't do good with that part. But I didn't have the same level of respectful heart then last year as I have today. That now makes me willing to follow the instruction. And that's what I'm talking about. We are so self-willed and self-invested based on false criteria that we lock ourselves off from what we have wanted and desired because it doesn't meet our diluted criteria. And so there are going to be some requirements to be able to receive this Dharma transmission. And that's what I just want to say. It's going to be a commitment to something, to doing the practice. For instance, I'm going to do the whole practice. In the beginning, it talks about, like
Counting breaths.
counting breaths. I'm like, I don't need to count breaths. I don't want to like on every 1, 2, 3. I don't want to do that. And I certainly don't want to do it for a half an hour. But to take up this training, I'm gonna do it. Just like the instruction has been given. Not gonna make my own shortcuts. Not gonna say, oh, I'm already past that. I mean, I can close my eyes and almost immediately drop into a space. So I'll just start right there. Where does that occur in the on page 6? Okay, I'm gonna start on page 6 every time I do this. But no, I'm gonna do exactly what it says. I'm gonna try it exactly what it says. And so I'm trying to throw out little tidbits of this. And And this is gonna take some time. But see, when you get further down the road to where you're sitting for 2 hours and 2 hours feels like 2 minutes, and you're entering these states that you can't get into now, but you believe that they exist because you've been close enough to them to feel their reality, but you can't get into them. You're saying, yeah, but I'm not committed to sitting here looking at the light in the bowl but it's talking about the movement of the mind. When the water becomes still in the bowl, it's because the mind has become still. And when the water is rippling in the bowl, it's because the mind is not still, right? You see, and part of that process is, and when you get to the last part of it, what's mind blowing is like I got a little bit of Alzheimer's or something, whatever that thing is that make you shake a little bit. I got some of that going on right now at 75. I'm like, my bowl is never gonna stop rippling. I mean, it's like a physical thing.
Not your body.
What?
You're the water.
That's it, you see. And so, but our mind like can't understand this, because it's beyond that realm of consciousness. We think consciousness is the highest thing. We find in the God principle now. I'm gonna tell you, it ain't even that. It's beyond that. And so suddenly, if I followed every step, didn't leave anything out, why do you think he has us reading and says, don't think this sentence is not important. Read every sentence. Don't take anything out. He's preparing us. But can you just follow the instruction if you want to know something? Don't come to me to want to know something. Then you don't want to follow the instruction. Stay home. Don't do it. Go join one of those other monasteries. Don't go to, who is it, Galman? Don't go to Galman Monastery. But they get awakened. The others just go someplace until they die. And so I am ready. I wasn't ready to really commit myself in a way that I am now. And I think, and the reason I have a respectful heart today is because in my ignorance and my stubbornness and my unwillingness, it's like stealing. It's like going into a store and you want something they have, but you don't want to pay the price for it. You want to pay what they ask for, so you just want to steal it. And in so many ways, I have understood how I will come to a teacher for something. I'm not talking about me as teacher, but who I consider a great teacher. And I want what they have, but I don't want to do what they ask me to do to get it. And that's the shift in my attitude. And your attitude determines your altitude. So I know this wasn't like a Dharma talk that was good and inspiring today. But I am planting a seed. With a great conviction today. That when we add this practice. Now is the time to add a meditation practice. And he said, like Zen, there's lots of methods. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of meditation methods. But this one has embedded in it a state practice initiation. And that's not me just working at something by myself. That I have the added benefit of the approval of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the support and the presence as I undertake this practice to support its benefits. And that's a precious invitation. The last thing I want to say in closing is sometimes we have experiences and we don't know what it means because we're so in the dark. But in time, we come to know little by little what something means. And the last time a few of us went out to Zazi's temple for we took the 7-day, we did the 7-day solitary retreat. And we all know about, Buddha Master and there are other, great Dharma kings who, when they are giving a Dharma, nectar falls, right, from the sky. And that's the proofs of the presence. We don't have to just believe things, we can know things. And that's the proof of the presence of the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhists. They gather and this nectar falls. But when we went and we were doing a 7-day retreat, it was just us lowly practitioners. And nectar started falling from the tree. And if you don't know what it is, you can Google it, it'll come up. And that let me know, sometimes you don't know whose presence you're in. It let me know that our little feeble attempts to understand and to practice and our level of sincerity and trust was great. And we didn't do really good on our 7-day retreat. I know I didn't. I slept half the time. I had 100, I think I had 100, I had 100 water bowls. I was ambitious, right? But by the second day of filling 100 water bowls, I'm like, it don't take 100. I'm gonna do, I cut that back to 10 water bowls. By the third day, I was down to 3 water bowls. And then the rest of the days, I just filled 3 water bowls. And the water bowl offering thing is difficult for me. I don't know why. Because if you drip any onto the brocade, you got to stop and you clean it up and you have to take it all the way to the top. You can't leave that much. You have to top it off, and one extra drop and then makes it spill. And I'm like, oh, come on. So let's not do the water bowl thing. And so I was cherry picking what I wanted to do, just this discriminating mind. And it became like a chore to me. So I didn't do that well, and yet there the nectar fell from the sky. So the support was there. And I'm understanding what this means now, because that other shore is coming closer to me in my mind. And I'm recognizing truly that the other shore is right here. I think that's all I want to say. This today is not so much about words, but I'm going to tell you that you have in the presence of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas today. And they are supporting your effort. So even if your practice is not good, don't stop trying to give it your all. There will come a place where it transfers from your head and it drops down. I say the heart, but you know what I mean? Not this pumping heart, but the core of your being in a different way. It will take hold and it will reveal life to you. And when you get this, everything you do in the world is of its value. So the least you do for another becomes extraordinarily precious, because it's not this outward thing that you're doing that gives its value, but it's the heart with which you offered it. And you'll stop looking for anything from this world, knowing that you're complete and lacking in nothing.
May the merit of our practice today go to all living beings everywhere. May they come to first understand, but then truly believe in cause and effect, the outcomes they generate through their actions, so that their life becomes easier. Their lives of all those they encounter become easier, and they can see that there's so much more than just what they thought they were. Reality.